This requisition, this request for the deployment of Kenya Police Service officers to Haiti, who is the originator? Where did it come from? Did it come from Haiti? And if it came from Haiti, from who in Haiti? Which government in Haiti? Which government, as we speak, is in charge of the Republic of Haiti? Because as a country, as a parliament that represents the people of Kenya, we have to ask these questions. We have to ask these questions because the public will ask us even tougher questions if something goes wrong in Haiti. So we must ask these questions. Which government in Haiti made the requisition for Kenya police officers to go to Haiti? If it is not the government of Haiti, therefore, who then asked for our police officers to go to Haiti? Is it the UN? I'm hearing it's the UN from somebody shouting across the aisle.
What's your point of order, Kainan? What's the point? Your debate must be very exciting. You have many points of order. You should appreciate it.
Thank you, Madam.
Proceed, Honorable Kainan.
Madam Speaker, is it in order for the Honorable Wandai to mislead Kenyans when page 10 of the report, and I read, clearly says, the Prime Minister of Haiti, with the concurrence of the Council of Ministers, addressed a letter to the UN Security Council on 9th October 2022, and on 10th October, the UN Security Council. And you just need to understand the making of the UN Security Council. Kenya is a responsible member. So the request came, and it's good he understands this. The request came from the Prime Minister of Haiti to the UN Security Council. The UN Security Council, in turn, requested the member states to contribute. So you need to understand, it's in order for the Honorable Wandai to mislead himself, to mislead members of parliament in Kenya that nobody requested for this. Yet he knows Kenya is a responsible member of the UN.
The more you listen to these colleagues of mine, the more you get actually amused. Madam Speaker, if it is the case that the request for the Kenyan government to deploy its police officers to Haiti came from the UN, can we have a look at the UN Security Council resolution that authorized this deployment? Does it make mention of Kenya, even for a moment? Does the UN Security Resolution authorizing this deployment make mention of Kenya? It does not. That is my submission. And therefore, we are basically getting into some kind of misadventure for reasons which are not known to the rest of us. The reasons could be known to a few people who are in the executive. But we want to tell you that you cannot use our Kenyan.
No, please kindly give him another 5 minutes because he was interrupted severally.
You cannot use our police women and men as guinea pigs at the altar of rent seeking. Because we know for sure that the motivation for this misadventure is money. Is money. People want to use our hapless police officers as guinea pigs in their bid to get cheap money. If you are sure that our Kenyan police officers are going to be safe in Haiti, first of all, start by taking there your child or brother, or go there yourself. Go there yourself. And then they tell us, Madam Speaker, that you see, the reason why Kenyan is leading this mission is because Kenyan people have got the same skin complexion as the Haitians. Are Kenyans the only black people in this part of the world? Are we short of black people in that part of the world? If you go to the Caribbeans, the whole of South America, indeed even some parts of North America, don't we have black people? Are we the only black people in this world, us and Haitians? What kind of nonsense is this? very parliamentary. Because you cannot lead us to indulge in an illegality at the altar of rent seeking. And therefore, with those very many remarks, and to allow my colleagues to equally contribute, I reject in toto. This means this ill-advised motion. This very ill-advised motion, I reject it in toto. And I want to appeal to my colleagues from both sides of the political divide to equally reject this motion, if only to save our country and the future of our children and our grandchildren. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I oppose.
Dion, you have a point of order? Oh, yes. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this motion for the deployment of our National Police Service officers to Haiti to restore order. Honorable Speaker, allow me first to begin by...
Honorable Nyikal, what is your point of order?
Madam Speaker, my point of order is we have the body of we have the report, but this report we do not have annexures. So we can't make references even to what people are saying, and the report as a whole has not been available. Is it possible to get those annexures so that we have a full report? And actually, the full report, this is an important debate, so we should have the full report as we discuss. Is it possible?
Thank you. I direct that the clerk's desk ensures that you immediately get some copies to come within the House. You'll receive them in a few minutes. Honorable Nyikal, proceed, Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I had hoped you direct the Honorable Nyikal to the table room up here, room 8, because there are adequate copies with annexures, and I have a report that was tabled with annexures. So if his PA photocopied without the annexures, you can ask them to download online. Honorable Speaker, I had said that I was rising to support this motion. Honorable Speaker, allow me to first disabuse a lot of misinformation that has been given by our colleague and my good friend, the Honorable Opio Wandai. And I heard him, Honorable Speaker, say that the UN Security Council resolution 2699 of 2023, that it does not even mention Kenya anywhere. And I would draw him to page 23, actually the third page of the UN Security Council, and he will notice that taking note of the call made by the government of Kenya on September 21st, 2023, urging the United Nations to urgently deliver an appropriate framework to facilitate the deployment of a multinational security support as part of a holistic response to Haiti's challenges, calling in the Security Council. Therefore, and the whole document is replete with a mention of Kenya, even the Kenyan delegation that visited Haiti to assess the situation in Haiti and report back to the Security Council, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, let me first disabuse that notion that the UN Security Council did not take cognizance of the role being taken by Kenya. Two, Honorable Speaker, is to note, and I think the Leader of Minority had not read the committee's report that was tabled yesterday, because yesterday I was with the Leader of Minority in somewhere in Stony Athi, deliberating on other matters of national importance, like the cost of living, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, he may have missed the tabling of the report. And because the report here, I will again share this report with the Leader of Minority. Because Kenya is deploying our officers as part of this MSS team, the Multinational Security Support Mission. And Honorable Speaker, other countries, if you just go to the report, and I just want to be very brief and draw reference to the report, that the Kenya is to lead the nation, is a lead nation for the MSS mission to Haiti, which includes, because the Leader of Minority was asking emotionally, are we the only Africans? Are we only black people? Us and Haiti. And this report that is before, I'm sure it is there in his office even, because his PA is a very diligent officer, says this mission includes Senegal. Senegalese are Africans. They are black people, like you and me. Burundians are Bantus. like myself and you, although you are half Nilot, half Bantu. Burundians are as
What's your
black
point
and
of
as
order,
Bantu
Honorable
as I am.
Allow Honorable Wandai to prosecute his point of order. Give on.
Madam Speaker, I just want to ask you if it is in order for the Honorable Majority Leader to turn this debate into a debate on the person of the Leader of Minority. And more importantly, to attempt to classify me as a Bantu come Nilot. How does that come in, Madam Speaker, in this debate? Huh? Madam Speaker, please protect me from the Leader of Majority. Protect me.
Leader of Majority, I'll let you respond.
Honorable Speaker, you know the Honorable Pio and I, besides being my colleague on the other side, is also my friend. And he knows I know Ugunja, I know the county of Siaya, and I know the intermarriages between the great people of the Luopin nation and those of the house of Mulembe, who are Bantus. And there are facts that are undeniable, and the member for Ugunja knows. Honorable Speaker, protect the Honorable Minority Leader from those who are now claiming that he's their cousin. But I was saying, Honorable Speaker, Burundians are as black as the Honorable Pio and myself are, and the Africans and black people. Honorable Speaker, Chad is another African country that is in this mission. Other partners in the Caribbean and the Americas who are also of African descent and black people. Therefore, I just wanted, Honorable Speaker, to begin by disabusing that notion that it is a Kenyan mission. It is a multinational security support mission which Kenya is honored to lead. And as patriotic leaders, as Kenyan patriots, we cannot stand in our own National Assembly and say that we are using our officers who are very patriotic young men and women who have given their lives to protect life and property of Kenyans and people of the world where they may be deployed. And like the doctors affirm what do you call it, Dr. Nyika, the Hippocratic Oath or something close to that. Our police officers and armed security men take an oath to defend life and to serve their nation anywhere they may be deployed, including being deployed in the residence of our leaders like Opio and I. That officer guarding your house today and guarding your family is a patriotic young man or young lady who has given his life to protect you and your family. We therefore cannot disparage them by saying they are being used as guinea pigs. They are doing their patriotic and national duty, not only to elevate our country's security forces and their performance, Honorable Speaker, because the other notion that is being disabused, it is made to look from the submissions by the Leader of Minority that this is the first mission that the National Police Service is being deployed to. Honorable Speaker, if the Leader of Minority had bothered to read this report, and I must commend the chair of the Security Committee, the Honorable Tongoyo, his vice chair, and the members of the committee, because they were very diligent. Kenya has previously engaged in other missions, including that in Kosovo, Yugoslavia, Darfur in our region here, Namibia in Africa, Timor, Angola, Sierra Leone, and even Croatia. I don't know how many black Africans live in Croatia, but we did that as part of the community of nations. And the deployment, Honorable Speaker, the proposed deployment that we are being asked to approve is anchored on our responsibilities, or the responsibility of Kenya as a UN member state and as part of that global community of nations. Honorable, historically, Kenya has been a leading participant in providing solutions to global security challenges. We indeed, as leaders, should feel honored as a country that our country has been called up by the UN Security Council and other nations of the world to serve in restoring security and restoring the dignity of other human beings, whether they are black people or not. And that's why I said Croatians are not black people. They are not Africans. But we have participated in missions to secure their country, to make it and restore the dignity of the people of Croatia and other areas, including other African countries, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the other issue that has been raised, Honorable Speaker, which I would want to respond to, is the National Police Service part of our national security organs, Honorable Speaker? And Honorable Speaker, if you read Article 239, because it is one thing, Honorable Speaker, for the Honorable Pio and I being a lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, Honorable Speaker, and I have asserted I am not a lawyer, and I have no desire of...
Allow the majority leader another 3 minutes to finish.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying I have no desire of ever becoming a liar. Therefore, because lawyers, Honorable Speaker, are always intent on reading the law in the way it favors them, because that is what they do as liars. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, because I'm not a liar, Honorable Speaker, I read the Constitution as an accountant who is able to read good English, interpret the Constitution as it is. Article 239 is not read in... Point of order.
Honorable Kajwang, TJ Kajwang. CJ Kajwang.
Madam Speaker, of course the majority leader wants to have some very humorous opportunity in the House to make this debate lively. But Honorable Speaker, majority leader is calling us lawyers liars, and is calling you, who is on the seat of the Speaker, a great lady of this country, that all that you have done all your career is to be a liar, and is facing you eyeball to eyeball and calling you a liar in the National Assembly. Well, Otiende and I, we are small people in this society. But Madam Speaker, you of all the people, you are a liar. Madam Speaker, is he in order to call us lawyers who have struggled our horse years and practiced more than 30 years in this country, that we are just but liars?
Honorable Leader of Majority, I hope to God you are not calling me a liar, but what I heard was that you were saying liar or lawyers. Please confirm that you're not calling the lawyers in the House liars. Clarify.
You know, Honorable Speaker, I have tremendous respect for liars. And our pronunciation, Honorable Speaker, the other day I was having tea with my good friend, the Honorable TJ Kajwang. And the Honorable TJ Kajwang spoke to me about a sip. And I was wondering, what sip? And because we were sipping tea, Honorable Speaker, only to come to learn he was speaking about the ship that had deployed the oil in Mombasa. Therefore, our pronunciation, Honorable Speaker, based on where we come from, varies. And the Honorable TJ Kajwang should forgive me, because where I come from, L-R-W, where you have W and Y, we have that difficulty. So I have the advocates of this country, let me use the word advocates. The advocates who serve like the Honorable TJ Kajwang are great people, and including yourself, Honorable Speaker, and you know I have tremendous respect for you and other advocates in this country. But I was speaking about, I have no intention ever of becoming one of them, because I'm an accountant. And I'm able to read, because going back to my point, I'm able to read the Constitution and interpret it, because the Constitution is not written in a lot of legalese, it's plain English. And Article 239, Honorable Speaker, of the national security, that defines our national security organs, says that the national security organs are the Kenya Defense Forces, National Intelligence Services, and the National Police Service. And indeed, Honorable Speaker, if you read on Article 239, Sub-Article 6, It says that Parliament shall enact legislation to provide for the functions, organization, and administration of the national security organs. And therefore, our National Police Service is part and parcel of our national security organs that the National Security Council can seek to be deployed to restore order or in case of emergency, as that has been sought in the country.
The Honorable Member for Kisumu West, Honorable Rosa Buyu.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. From the onset, I'd like to say that I'm a member of the committee that has presented this motion. Madam Speaker, unfortunately, in the final stages, when this report was being written, I had to dash to my constituency and therefore was not able to be present to append my signature as a dissenting voice to this report. Madam Speaker, I'm not an advocate and I'm not a lawyer, but I stand here to speak as a citizen of this country. Madam Speaker, I want to speak on behalf of millions of Kenyans who are not able to give their views this morning on this motion. Madam Speaker, I speak for thousands of residents in Lamu. I speak for thousands of residents in the North Rift. Madam Speaker, I stand to speak for residents who are in Northeastern. And I also stand to speak for all those residents in Sondu who in the recent past have experienced the skirmishes of the clashes that have cost many Kenyans their lives. Madam Speaker, the UN recommendation report clearly states that there should be one policeman at a ratio of 450 citizens. In Kenya today, Madam Speaker, we have one policeman to the ratio of 1,152 Kenyans. Madam Speaker, the result of this can clearly be seen in this country, where the impact of few police officers is felt in the violent occurrences in many parts of this country, where many Kenyans end up losing their lives. Madam Speaker, we've been told that security does not lie in the numbers of security officers. That might be true, but Madam Speaker, you can only train and make good quality of numbers that you have. Madam Speaker, we know that charity begins at home. Madam Speaker, where is the sense in taking 1,000 police officers to Haiti when Kenyans are dying in need of protection, in need of service from their police officers? Madam Speaker, the government or the head of the government took an oath to protect the lives of its citizens. Madam Speaker, you don't protect the lives of your citizens by taking police officers who are supposed to protect them away from them to a land called Haiti. You can only protect their lives by enhancing the numbers and enhancing the security amongst your citizens. Madam Speaker, we've also been told in this report, and we've heard from the leader of majority, that Kenya owes it to the international community, which we are part of. Madam Speaker, if you cannot contain and protect lives of your people, surely where do you have the guts to take away to protect lives of people in Haiti? Madam Speaker, we've been told that Haiti is a land of gangs where no president can sit pretty, because so far 4 presidents have been beheaded and murdered, and the gangs maraud the whole land of Haiti. Madam Speaker, I want to agree with our leader of minority that in taking these 1,000 officers to Haiti, we are actually doing nothing but sending them there as sacrificial lamb. Because in a country that's ruled by gangs, in a country where there's no law and order, in a country where there's no respect for human life, why, Madam Speaker, give me one reason why we take 1,000 of our officers into that land. Madam Speaker, I stand here to
point
register
of order?
my dissent and opposition
Let's hear the point
to
of
this
order. I'll give
project
you a
of
minute.
taking our members to...
Mike, Honorable Speaker, I'm sorry
I'll
to
give you a
disrupt my
minute,
sister.
Honorable Buyu, to finish.
Honorable
Proceed.
Speaker, I was rising on standing order 106 on irrelevance and repetition because I have listened to the Honorable Rosa Buyu continuously repeat herself on issues to do with Sondu. And when I looked at the motion before the House, Honorable Speaker, at least towards the end as she was completing, she was speaking about Haiti because the debate was on the deployment to Haiti. Honorable Speaker, more importantly, I have a copy of the report. And the Honorable Rosa Buyu, as she has asserted, is a member of this committee. And Honorable Speaker, I was going to advise Honorable Speaker, the kind of things Honorable Rosa Buyu was alluding to are things I have seen a very diligent member of that committee in the name of Honorable Kaluma, what he did. He has been able to express himself in a dissenting report. The Honorable Rosa Buyu, I'm told, never even attended the committee sittings to benefit from, and the minutes are there, Honorable Speaker. I'm not just speaking to things I do not know because minutes of the committee are in the report. The Honorable Rosa Buyu never attended a single meeting of the committee and now seeks to speak to the gallery with a lot of irrelevances about Sondu and other areas. Honorable Speaker, I will just beg that we be relevant in line with the Standing Order 106 and restrict ourselves to the issue of Haiti, not Sondu, not Kikuyu, not Baringo, and other areas, Honorable Speaker.
I think, Honorable Rosa, I'll give you 2 minutes so that you can finish your, because you were interrupted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for the records, I was in the meeting, the joint meeting of the two committees, Committee of National Assembly and Committee of the Senate. And I deliberated, and even in that committee, I actually voiced my opposition. Madam Speaker, I've clearly stated that I wasn't able to come in the last committee when the report was being finalized because I owe it to my people to be in the constituency when the duty called, and I was there. Madam Speaker, the reason why I'm talking about Sondu, Baringo, Lamu, Northeastern, and the other places is because those places are experiencing violent, that's actually leading to deaths of many people, Madam Speaker. It is the police who are charged with responsibility to protect Kenyans. These are the police we want to take away from Kenyans to take to Haiti. Madam Speaker, the leader of majority sometimes should learn to be relevant himself instead of standing up on useless point of orders. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Help me there.
Honorable TJ, your point of order.
Madam Speaker, I have been listening to the debate which is going in the House. Let us be sober. The onerous duty, Madam Speaker, that has been given to us as the National Assembly to approve forces deployment is a very important thing. And so let us take out emotions and let us look at facts, because this, in my recollection, is the very first time we are doing this. And at the end of the day, it will be our appendage to the force distribution or deployment as a mandate of the National Assembly. Madam Speaker, I'm just looking at the law so that we do not do something unconstitutional and so that we don't do something outside the law. Section 108 of the Police Service Act states that the President may, on the application of the government of a reciprocating country and so on. I have looked at the functions. Madam Speaker, I've looked at the functions of the police service, and I have looked through all the functions that are given to the Inspector General, except for 108, the only section in which the President may send police service is section 108. The rest of the sections, police service are a homeland. They protect inside the country. The only place in which police service can go outside the country is under 108. And under 108, it begins by saying the president can do that, but in a reciprocating country. Madam Speaker, I would want the chair to express itself to apply its mind to whether Haiti is a reciprocating country. Whether Haiti is a reciprocating country. Because if it is not a reciprocating country, over all the things we have said, police service is supposed to help us internally, not outside. And the authority given by the law is only the authority to reciprocating countries. And so, Madam Speaker, I think this is a very important issue that even as we are going on, I don't say that we stay the proceedings, but I'm asking that the speakership should apply its mind and come back with a reasoned communication from the chair, whether in the facts of this matter, Haiti is a reciprocating country for which we as National Assembly have the requisite jurisdiction to approve the forces to go to a foreign country. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Kamkunji, Honorable Yusuf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand to support this resolution, and I do so as a former member of the United Nations and full respect for the UN Charter and our role as a member of the international community. In fact, Madam Speaker, the Haiti government had requested the United Nations Security Council to help the stabilization of that country, on whose security situation is in dire straits at the moment. The situation in Haiti is grim. Law and order has collapsed, and the people of Haiti and the government of Haiti need support. And as a result of that, the UN Security Council passed a resolution. This is a resolution which was passed on the 2nd of October 2023, which approved the deployment of UN troops and UN police to stabilize the situation in Haiti. And every UN resolution has, which deploys peacekeeping, has a police component. Under Chapter 6 or and Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, the UN has the powers to deploy peacekeeping forces, peace enforcement forces, and that includes a police component, which in this particular case, the Republic of Kenya has been asked, and at the request of the Haitian government, and at the request of the United Nations. We are now obliged to deploy a police force to Haiti. We are not an island, Madam Speaker. We don't live in an isolated world. We are part of the international community. And Haiti is not an isolated country for us. Haitians are of African descent. And Kenya, as a member of the African Union, fully supports not only the 55 African countries that are members of the African Union and also members of the United Nations, but all the countries with people of African descent, which includes the entire Caribbean nations, Brazil, and many other countries. And with the history of Haiti as it is, we've had a major interaction with the people and the leadership of Haiti over the years. From 1945, if you remember when the Pan-African Conference was held in Manchester in the UK, the 5th Pan-African Conference, Jomo Kenyatta, who became our president, attended that. We also had a Haitian delegation. We had a large number of Caribbean delegation, including CLR James, William Dubois. So we have always been part of the Pan-African movement, of which at Haiti, as an important country, is an integral part. We are not this is not the first time we're deploying internationally, Madam Speaker. There's a lot of commotion here. Can you...
Honorable Speaker.
We cannot engage in a proper debate.
We are having serious disruption from Korea here.
I can...
A very important member is...
Your first time, I've been relaxed.
No. Madam Speaker...
Honorable Karoli, please do not address the member. You can only address the House through the chair.
Thank you.
Okay, proceed, Honorable.
Madam Speaker, for the information of this House, this is not the first time Kenya has deployed internationally in peacekeeping operations. We have deployed more than 15 times. I personally remember serving in a number of peacekeeping missions. We deployed in East Timor. East Timor at that time did not have a government. The government had collapsed, and the United Nations deployed peacekeeping forces and ran that country until it became independent. And we had a police force. We have also deployed, Madam Speaker, in Namibia, in Cambodia, in Yugoslavia, in Bosnia-Herzegovina, in East Timor, as I have said, in Sierra Leone, in Kosovo, in Angola. And at the moment, we have police officers serving in conflict areas in South Sudan, in Somalia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, and Western Sahara. So our forces have been in place, and therefore what we are doing now is just deploying in support of a UN resolution to keep peace in Haiti. And we need to support the people of Haiti. We need to be part of the solution to the problem of Haiti. And
the Honorable Sarah Korere.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also rise to support the motion. And indeed, Madam Speaker, this motion is properly before this House. Madam Speaker, it is true that Kenya is a member of the United Nations, and we have the responsibility to be our brother's keeper. And for avoidance of doubt, Madam Speaker, I want to refer this House to the report of the Committee on Security. Madam Speaker, Kenya has posted its police officers to other missions in the other years as late as 1989. And Madam Speaker, in 1989 to 1990, Kenya deployed its officers to Namibia, and we sent 30 officers to Namibia. In 1992 to 1993, Kenya sent its officers to Cambodia, 20 of them. In 1992 to 1995, police officers were sent to the former Yugoslavia, 50 officers were sent there. In 1995 to 1996, Kenyan officers were sent to Bosnia, and 20 officers were sent there. In 1999 to 2002, we sent 40 officers to East Timor. In 1998, we sent police and civilian support to Croatia, and 20 officers were sent. 1998 to 1999, officers were sent to Sierra Leone mission, and 5 officers were sent. Madam Speaker, in 1999 to 2005, officers again were sent to Sierra Leone, and 51 officers were sent. In 1999 to 2008, officers were sent to Kosovo, and 98 officers were sent to Kosovo. In the year 2005 and 2006, the African Union sent Kenyan officers, 50 of them to Darfur. And Madam Speaker, to date, we have officers in South Sudan, we have officers in Somalia, we have officers in the DRC, we have officers in ABA, we have officers in Western Sahara, we have police officers in New York, we have police officers in Italy and Addis Ababa. And Madam Speaker, when this thing came before our committee, we raised several questions. One among them was, Haiti is a French-speaking country. How are we going to send our officers there? And Madam Speaker, it came to my realization that security officers speak in silence. And that is why if you come to Laikipia today, Madam Speaker, where the British Army used to train since colonial times to date, you will get children of mixed races. And these officers don't speak in Maasai language. And the Maasais don't speak the British language. But how these things happen, it is because security officers speak in silence. And Madam Speaker, Burundi is sending its troops there. Burundi is a Swahili and French-speaking nation, and they're going to give support to our troops. Senegal is sending its troops there. Madam Speaker, we are a global nation. We are an international community. When the world is not safe, when Haiti is not safe, we are not safe. What is happening in Haiti, Madam Speaker, is some gangs terrorizing locals. Women are raped, children are kicked out of their houses, and what our police is going to do is to give support to the Haitian police to train them, to secure critical infrastructure. And Madam Speaker, if a woman in Haiti is not saved, I'm not safe in Kenya. So Madam Speaker, I want to support, and again, I want to refer this House to the Constitution. The National Police Act, Section 1081. And Madam Speaker, unless we are speaking in
the Honorable Member for Nyaribari Chache, Zahi Janda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support the Haiti motion because, Madam Speaker, we are a global community of nations, and it is absolutely essential for Kenya, together with other multinationals, to help Haiti. It is a matter of humanitarian consideration to help offer support to our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Madam Speaker, the sole aim is to help usher in stability, development, and democratic governance through a political framework owned and driven by the people of Haiti. Madam Speaker, it was through a request by the UN Security Council of the deployment of multinational security missions to Haiti. Kenya, Madam Speaker, will help to reinforce Haiti National Police Force. Madam Speaker, I fully support the deployment of Kenyan Police Force. Madam Speaker, you are aware that we have forces in the DRC and other African countries, and you can see what our troops have done in Congo. So I stand to support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Karoli Omondi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I begin by first noting that there exists a proper legal framework for the deployment of our police service men and women overseas, and that is under Article 107 and 108 of the National Police Service Act. I think that matter rests there. Though I would urge that proper gazette notices be issued by the executive to give effect to those provisions. Madam Speaker, the seeds of the current turmoil in Haiti commenced with the arrival of Christopher Columbus in the New World. And if you've had the privilege of reading the book by CLR James, the Black Jacobins, who was a teacher of my friend who has just left here, the member for Kamkunji. He begins by saying, Christopher Columbus landed in the New World, and after praising God, urgently inquired for gold. In other words, it was an expedition of exploitation. And when they annihilated the indigenous Indian population of Haiti, efforts were made to transship Africans from the west coast of Africa to Haiti. And since then, Haiti has prospered, created a lot of wealth for so many people, but has also been a tragedy to the African people. It is my conviction that it is very important that we all take an interest in what is happening in Haiti. Haiti was the first African-led country in the Western Hemisphere, where the slaves rose up, fought away the French, won their freedom, defended.
The Honourable Member for Belgut. The member for Belgut is not there. The Honourable Member for Tindiret. Your time is up.
Thank you. Is it me or?
Let's give the Honourable Chair another